In this world, turning 18 meant one thing above all else: getting your tattoo. It was a rite of passage, a fundamental step into adulthood. People would book their appointments months, sometimes a full year, in advance at the most renowned tattoo studios in the city. You didn't want to be the one left out, discovering that all the best artists were fully booked. May was a particularly chaotic month, a storm of birthdays that made securing a spot nearly impossible. The tension was palpable. Tempers often flared at receptionists as people, desperate not to miss their day, offered hundreds of dollars just to squeeze into a packed schedule. Ethan, however, was an anomaly. He didn't share the collective excitement. He simply didn't want a tattoo. His parents, his friends, and especially his girlfriend, Olivia, all assured him it was just a phase. They insisted that one day he would wake up and feel the same deep-seated need for a mark as everyone else. "I know you think you don't want it now," Olivia would say, her voice laced with a gentle concern that felt more like pressure. "But just imagine, when you turn 18, all your friends will be showing off their new ink. People will be asking to see yours. You can tell them you're getting it later, that you couldn't get an appointment. But for how long can you keep up that excuse? Eventually, you'll look around and feel empty, wondering why you're the only one without a mark. But why is it so necessary?" Ethan would counter, "Yes, everyone else has one, but I don't feel the need." "Ethan, you're always like this," Olivia sighed. "You resist anything that feels like an obligation, thinking it must be a bad thing. You were the same way about learning to drive. Try to see it differently. A tattoo is your voice to the world, a way to declare yourself. It says, 'This is me. This is who I am, what I believe in.' I honestly can't wait to see what you choose." Ethan would just sigh and change the subject. That was the other problem, the part he couldn't articulate to anyone. He didn't understand why a permanent image on his skin was required to express his identity. Why couldn't he just be himself? Dress the way he wanted, speak his mind, pursue his interests. Don't people get to know you by actually getting to know you? But no, in this society, the tattoo was paramount. Your choice of design was a public declaration of your values, your passions, your very soul. Some people chose portraits of their pets, others opted for powerful animals like lions or wolves. Stars, moons, and celestial designs were popular. Some etched words in foreign languages onto their skin, while others preferred minimalist geometric shapes. For years, whenever Ethan allowed himself to think about it, a cold wave of anxiety washed over him. He knew who he was, but he couldn't compress his entire being into a single picture. He was more than a few words, more than a simple shape. It was considered poor taste to reveal your tattoo design beforehand, a private decision until it was permanently etched. Of course, many people couldn't resist talking about it. Ethan's friends had all shared their grand plans, confident in their choices. When they asked Ethan about his, he'd vaguely say he had an idea but wanted to keep it a secret. One afternoon, his mom noticed his growing anxiety. She tried to reassure him. "It's perfectly normal, honey. A lot of people feel nervous. If you're that worried, just get it somewhere hidden. Get it on your backside if you have to, Mom." But even that was a social minefield. Most people proudly displayed their tattoos on their arms or legs. Those who wanted to make a bold statement got them on their hands or even their heads. The ones who chose hidden spots, their back, the sole of their foot, or yes, their backside, were often treated with suspicion. In the current social climate, hiding your mark was not cool. The day after your 18th birthday was for celebration and revelation. If your tattoo was hidden, people might just pull your clothes aside to see it anyway. Ethan shuddered at the thought. He knew a few people, whispers really, who didn't get tattoos at all. One of his uncles was one of them, but Ethan had never met him. His family spoke of the man in hushed, disappointed tones. He couldn't understand it. Why were people without tattoos treated like outcasts? They were seen as strange, perpetually childlike because only children were unmarked. They struggled to find jobs, as employers saw a lack of a tattoo as a sign of secrecy. If you didn't have a mark, you must be hiding something, right? So, Ethan knew his resistance had an expiration date. He could say no for now, but eventually he would be forced to conform. On the morning of his 18th birthday, his parents drove him to a tattoo studio. Of course, they had. They had booked the appointment months ago without telling him. A surprise ambush. Ethan argued, saying he had plans with his friends, but the appointment was for 10 a.m. and it was non-negotiable. Inside, he was led to a private room where he met the tattoo artist. She was a woman in her 40s or 50s, her own skin a vibrant canvas of countless designs. It was a known fact that only tattoo artists could have more than one tattoo without being judged. For everyone else, one was enough. Ethan was surprised the artist was a woman, as men usually went to male artists and women to female ones. His parents must have thought a woman would calm his nerves. Or perhaps she was the only one available. She was kind, offering him a cup of tea and gently probing about his hobbies, his passions, the people he loved. His parents had clearly briefed her on his anxiety, which only made him feel more cornered. Ethan did love many things, of course, but none of them felt significant enough to be permanently branded onto his body. And where would he even put it? He didn't want it visible, but he didn't want the social ostracism that came with a hidden one. And then, an idea sparked in his mind, a desperate, defiant plan. "Can I get a tattoo on my head?" The artist looked taken aback. "Well, yes, you can. But with your thick hair, nobody will ever see it. I can't tattoo you until you get it cut, though." Ethan stood up abruptly. "Could you wait for me? I'll go to the barber shop right now." The artist glanced at her watch and sighed. "All right, but be quick." Ethan burst out of the room, surprising his parents who were waiting nervously outside. "No time to explain," he shouted, already heading for the door. "I'm going to the barber shop." His parents likely assumed he was getting a trendy side shave to display a tattoo on his temple. It was a popular style, requiring a short haircut but looking undeniably cool. But that wasn't Ethan's plan. He walked into the barber shop and told the man he wanted it all shaved off. The barber was shocked. "But you're so young, you have such great hair. Are you sure you want to go completely bald?" Yes, and I'm in a hurry." So, the barber shaved his head clean. Ethan was bald. He looked alien to himself in the mirror, but he didn't care. He paid, thanked the man, and ran back to the studio. "Oh my God," his mother gasped when she saw him. But he was already back in the room with the artist before she could say more. "I'm ready," he said, panting. "And I know what I want." Nobody liked Ethan's tattoo. First, it wasn't original. Everyone strived for a unique, personal mark, and Ethan's was just a simple, bold X. Plenty of people had X's, but they were usually incorporated into a larger, more intricate design. Not Ethan. His was just a large, black X. The location, of course, was considered too original, bordering on absurd. His friends thought it was hilarious, a classic Ethan move. They said only he would get a tattoo on the very top of his head. In a strange way, they thought it was perfect for him. His parents, however, loathed it, and his girlfriend, Olivia, was mortified. Weeks turned into months. Ethan's hair began to grow back, a soft fuzz that soon obscured the mark. The laughter from his friends faded, and life seemed to return to a semblance of normal. But then came the questions. "When are you going to get a real one?" his dad asked one evening. "I mean, that was a funny prank, son, but you need a proper tattoo. You can't just shave your head bald every time someone wants to see it." Ethan was in disbelief. He had done what they all wanted. He got the tattoo. Why was it still a problem? His dad wasn't alone. Olivia pleaded with him daily to get a new one. She drew designs for him, texted him ideas, and left tattoo magazines on his bed. Finally, the constant pressure became too much. He ended their relationship. Ethan, of course, did not get a new tattoo. The first one had been painful and expensive. His parents had paid for it, but he hated that their money had gone towards something he never wanted. And truthfully, he didn't even like the tattoo he had. The brief satisfaction of his rebellious act had faded, leaving behind an ugly mark he was glad to hide. As his hair grew thick and full, the X completely vanished from view. He was content with this, his anxiety finally quieting. He could almost forget it was there, but his peace only angered everyone else. "Fine, you got a bad tattoo," his mother said. "But now you're hiding it. You can't just get a tattoo there and cover it with hair. You should shave your head again or get a new one where people can see it." "No," Ethan said firmly. "I won't. I got the tattoo. That's what you wanted. You should be happy. I don't have to be like everyone else." University brought a new set of challenges. The first week was a social ritual of tattoo reveals. It was an icebreaker, a way to forge friendships by sharing the stories behind the ink. When someone had a hidden tattoo, it created a buzz of curiosity. Ethan told no one where his was. Several girls, intrigued by the mystery, tried to get close to him, assuming it was on his backside. When the truth finally came out, the reaction wasn't curiosity, it was scorn. One night, a group of guys from the football team broke into his dorm room while he slept and shaved his head. The next day, his mark was exposed for the whole campus to see. He was an object of ridicule. "What a lame tattoo," they jeered. It would be better to have none at all. Until that moment, a small part of Ethan had considered getting another, more conventional tattoo just to make life easier. But the humiliation of that night solidified his resolve. He would never get another one. This was who he was. He soon discovered there was a word for it: tatless. The tatless were people who, for various reasons, couldn't or wouldn't get tattoos. Some had them removed. Others, like him, simply kept them hidden and lived outside the social norm. Finally, through an online forum, Ethan met other tatless people. He was nervous at first, but from the moment he met them, he felt a profound sense of belonging. They understood the judgment, the pressure, the feeling of being an outsider, and they thought his story, and the tattoo he got, was an act of courage. Ethan grew particularly close to one of the guys, Alex. They became boyfriends, a relationship they had to keep quiet. If Ethan's parents knew he was dating someone who was tatless, they would be devastated. Many times, Alex would gently suggest, "You could get that tattoo removed. I know it's hidden, but it's a completely different feeling when it's gone for good. When I had mine removed, I felt so free. It's a safe procedure. I have a friend who specializes in it." But Ethan always declined. "It's hidden. That's good enough. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist." Ethan and Alex built a life together over the years. As Ethan entered middle age, he noticed his hair was beginning to thin at the crown. He had been dreading this day. Soon, his tattoo would be permanently exposed, a constant reminder of the pain and conflict of his youth. He hadn't spoken to his parents in years and had no desire to relive the day he got that unwanted mark. He decided it was finally time to have it removed. First, he had to shave his head for the consultation. Alex offered to do it for him. Ethan sat on a stool in their bathroom, closing his eyes against the memories. Alex worked quickly and quietly with the clippers. "I don't believe it," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. "What is it?" Ethan asked, his heart pounding with anxiety. He kept his eyes shut tight. "Did you have it removed already?" "It's gone." Ethan opened his eyes. He looked in the mirror. It was true. There, on his now bald head, was nothing but smooth, clear skin. The X was gone. It had, somehow, over all these years, removed itself. A slow, genuine laugh escaped Ethan's lips, a sound of pure liberation. "My body knows what it wants," he said, meeting Alex's eyes in the mirror. "And it never wanted that."